Thank you, everybody, for joining us for our May Ambassador call. We are very happy to talk to Vivian White from the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, if I could talk, today. And we know her from our NASA collaborations, and she is going to tell us some of the very cool things that their group does out of the Bay Area. And she is the director of education there, and she's been involved with eclipse projects with undergraduates and amateur astronomers, as well as the NASA Night Sky Network with groups of amateur astronomers, local groups all over uh, the country and probably beyond, I'm guessing. Um, yeah, she's done a variety of great projects, so it'll be an honor to have her tell us some about that today. And then at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about an Artemis Aurora connection that we wanted to share with you all. So I don't forget. We definitely want to share that as well. But thank you so much for joining us, Vivian.
Yeah, thanks, Liz and Laura, for having me. It's nice to see so many familiar faces. And hello to those of you I'm just meeting. I have some slides to share. Let me just hop on there. See if this will work out. Sometimes it does. But then I might not be able to see the chat. So feel free to just interrupt me and let me just start sharing. I will put all these links in the chat at the end, so don't feel like you have to take anything down or scramble to remember things. There are a couple of QR codes that you can find as well, but I'm happy to share all of these things afterwards. Thanks so much for having me. I'm Vivian White. I am the Director of Education at the Astronomical Society of the Pacific. I've been there for about 20 years now, and I have gotten to do so many exciting things. I'm an avid eclipse chaser. That's me on the bottom left in Roatan, seeing an annular eclipse in the water. And with my grandfather and my kid, I have a 15-year-old. I'm a queer single mom. I live at a co-op in Berkeley, California. I like to give a fuller introduction of my whole life just because I feel like we all bring so much to our work and that informs what we do. So I am also a potter. Those are a few of my planet bowls I made a few years ago, and a hobby potter. And I am part of one of the stewards of the solar calendar here in Berkeley, California. So we observe the sun quarterly on the solstices and equinoxes and watch the sunset over a few different special places that are set up around a large uh, circle that is honoring farm workers. So lots of stuff that I get up to, but I just saw my first aurora this past year and I thought I was an eclipse chaser. I have shifted and am now an aurora chaser. I am in love with the aurora, and I can see why you all do what you do. It's just absolutely mesmerizing, and I know you know all that. So today, I just wanted to share a few ways that you can connect with NASA. Wherever you are, whatever you happen to be doing, I wanted to share a couple of things that I work on and that some friends of mine work on. And so I'm just going to go through. I'm happy to answer any questions at any time. I do see a chat, but is that going to be? Oh, that's okay. Okay, I can't look at the chat and you all and this at the same time. So I'll just stop me as I go. Nope, that's not going to get me there. How do I get there? There we go. I have been working at the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, running the NASA Night Sky Network for, as I said, 20 years. The Night Sky Network is over 20 years old now. It's 400 astronomy clubs all across the US. Have you all connected with your local astronomy club? any of you, and now I can actually see your faces. So it looks like some of you are even maybe members of your local astronomy club. Yeah. I know a lot of colleges connect with them. If you have not yet connected with your local astronomy club, this is a wealth of knowledge right at your fingertips. They often do public observing events and have telescopes and really are often one of the kindest communities you will find in a neighborhood. And they have lots of links to different parts of the astronomy and science ecosystem right there in your community. So I'll share a few things that the Night Sky Network does. We're funded by NASA Science Activation, also partially funding Aurorasaurus. So I know that I just want to give a big shout out for all that they do for us. It's been amazing to be able to work with NASA and get to support the volunteers all across the country. There are about 12,000 volunteers. And again, we have about 12,000 volunteers in the clubs that we interact with every month. We have regular webinars that you're welcome to join us for. We just had the Dragonfly mission a couple of days, couple weeks ago now, and we have another one coming up on all of the science happening around Artemis. So that's this coming month in May. If you just go to Night Sky Network on YouTube, you will find us. The clubs post their events and information on the website. You can find local events that are happening near you. There's a widget. If you have a website you want to share upcoming astronomy events, you can add that to your website. We also have a notes article and planner. I am sure you have a lot of Aurora planning materials, but this is going to be more generally interesting as just astronomy, night sky gazing, daytime sky gazing, kind of a one-stop resource for things maybe not entirely Aurora focused, but there will be some Aurora in there as well.
Vivian, could
Yeah.
I ask you if I think the clubs are all in the US, but kind of what contacts you guys might have with clubs outside the US or activities? Like I imagine some of the events are online or open to everyone, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So the clubs are in the US only. It's a NASA sponsored program. So we stick to the US, but all of the webinars are free to anyone who wants to join on, and they're monthly. We have monthly webinars with NASA scientists. The Night Sky notes and planner are often Northern Hemisphere centric. So I guess that is a limitation on that as well. So, but most of them work all over the Northern Hemisphere. Um, we don't have as many Southern Hemisphere, but I'll tell you what comes up next. And I think that's, oh yeah, good. Here we go. We do have some Southern Hemisphere stuff that help with your sky gazing while you're out there waiting for the aurora to show up. There's so much else to see. I'm sure you also know that, but there are lots of fun things if you want to talk to other people about what you're looking at in the night sky. For example, we have these Planet Quest observing cards are how to talk about the search for life on other worlds while you're just observing the things you regularly observe at night. So they are classified by different types of objects, galaxies, double stars, the things that you regularly see through a telescope. And it gives you just quick stories that you can tell or little blurbs that you might be able to pull out. If you're just tired of telling the same story, even if you do this all the time, these can be nice new additions to your repertoire. Um, we also have quite a few other. We have 12 toolkits now, all on different subjects, but they are hands-on materials. You can access any of these virtually, but we also send out toolkits to astronomy clubs. So the clubs have the kits themselves that are full of great materials, and they're all just for helping to talk to the public about common things that we as astronomers talk about. And I see Liz has one of them behind her that I have also in my list. I thought this one might actually be specifically interesting to you. We just came out with a new toolkit, an update to an older one. It's called Our Dynamic Sun, and it's with NASA Heat and the Night Sky Network and some Eclipse Ambassador funding that we had left over. So there are all sorts of there are cards that you can print out that tell these answer common questions that you see about the sun, that you hear about the sun from the public. We realized that after the eclipse, so many people had new solar observing equipment, and they didn't quite have all of the tools to talk to the public about it. So these are really simple things that you can talk about. But this one goes into aurora and space weather and topics that you might be interested in. So I thought maybe
We used that
a
one when
fun.
we did our thing at the Science Museum. Was it last weekend? We had that one at our booth at the Science Museum.
Hooray! Wait, Elizabeth, where are you coming from?
Um, well, I live in northeastern Minnesota, but Tanya and I did a booth at the Science Museum of Minnesota in the Twin Cities um,
Ah,
last Saturday, I think.
that is so awesome. I am so glad we partner
Went
with
over
lots
real
of
well.
clubs. Oh, good. And there's a slide deck if you want to do give a presentation about the sun, things like that. So there's all sorts of different resources that might be useful to you as you do outreach, um, wherever you happen to be. That's great
I,
to hear. Thanks, Elizabeth. Yeah,
I like the banner version, the fabric version, and I put it on a table, and then I do this family science night where we're drawing about auroras. So I can also tell you that you can easily get chalk out of it if you accidentally get a little exciting stuff on there. So
that's so cool. I
sometimes
love
the table is, bigger or less big, and I'm not really one for setting up the booth, but yeah, figured that out.
that is so cool. That's really good to know. I've never used chalk on it, but now we know. Yeah, these banners are made out of cloth. If you all don't have one and really want one, you can always send me an email. My email's on here. I'll show you if it
Is this
be
the
white.
only one of your kits that has a cloth banner like this?
No, we have another really fun banner called Astronomy. What is it? Astro All. It is all the different people that are involved with astronomy. So from the big astronomy toolkit, we also have another one that's cloth. But that was the first one we had done, and we loved it. Makes a lot
Yeah.
more sense than a lot of them that we had done before are vinyl, and they only fairly recently came up with cloth printing that's good enough to get small words and things like that. So it's
Yeah,
working.
it's
I like
really
that a lot.
nice. You have a question in the chat from Pats about
Oh,
how do you join the network?
oh, I'm so glad you asked. I think that's my next slide. It's like oh no, I have two more slides. I'll show you that. I wanted to show you one more thing that we also offer. This is from a previous project that we did with the Girl Scouts. And this actually just has to do with how to make astronomy more welcoming to everyone. It's directed at making astronomy more welcoming to girls because the Girl Scouts put out some space science badges along with the SETI Institute. We worked with a lot of great partners on that, but we helped to train the amateur astronomers to create more welcoming events for girls. But it really works for everybody if you have docents at your museums or it's pretty good training. Takes about an hour altogether. It's self-guided, it's free. You can just check it out there. I just wanted to share that. That can be a fun public engagement training. And oh, how do you join the network? Okay, I thought that was on this slide, but it's not. So I will tell you that you're welcome to join your local astronomy club. The astronomy clubs are the ones who join the network. So if your astronomy club is not part of the network, you just go to nightsky.network.org and you'll see how to join. You need to have at least 15 members. You need to have been active for at least 2 years, and you need to do public outreach events. So those are your major requirements, and everything you get is free. We also, if you are part of an astronomy club that wants to join, we have a whole back end that helps you organize your events and your club, and there's a lot that goes along with that. So we're welcome as many clubs as you would like to join. I think thanks for letting me know. If you have any other questions, holler in the chat. I wanted to share a couple other resources that I thought you might also be interested in. This is how to get an astronaut uh, or a NASA space person to come and speak with your people. um, this is not always the easiest process, and it doesn't always result in getting a NASA speaker. So you can request it, but they can't fulfill all of the requests. So there are some links here, and I will throw those in the chat at the end. But also, if that is not possible, I really encourage you to hit up the NASA Solar System Ambassadors. I just borrowed these from a talk that I gave recently with another friend who runs the Solar System Ambassador program, and she said I could use these slides. So here's some information about them that I think might also be useful if you're having events. Please reach out to the Solar System Ambassadors program. There are over 1,000 volunteers, again, all across the country. They've been trained by NASA. They give amazing talks. They often will bring telescopes or have lots of handouts and resources. So we encourage you to invite them to your events, and they are super passionate about sharing the science. That is absolutely true. They're all volunteers, so you don't pay them. Sometimes you can, if they have to come from far away, you can reimburse them for travel, but that's about it. They will not take any donations. They just want to share the good news about NASA. Yeah, this is the nationwide reach, and I'll show you how to find them next. You can go and look on events they are already having, or you can find people in your neighborhood who you could invite to one of your events. Either way, both of those things work. Or since you all are so involved already, you could become a solar system ambassador. They are looking for really, really enthusiastic people who like to talk to the public. Do we have any solar system ambassadors on here today? Anybody already one? It is such a cool program. They give you tons of great training, lots of resources that they just send you all the time, and you get to hang out with a bunch of other cool space nerds, which I think is super fun. Here you go. There's a QR code, or you can just look up Solar System Ambassadors and you will get there very quickly. The next round of applications are due, oh, it opens they're usually due in September, so it should open at the end of the summer. And you can sign up to get notified when that happens. Yeah. Yeah, that's solarsystem.nasa.gov/solar system ambassadors. But really, if you just look that up, you should be able to find them.
I know there are at least a few Aurora photographers and enthusiasts in that group. So there's one in the
Yeah,
Midwest. I'm trying to think of her name, but
you can use the solar system ambassadors to talk about the aurora. If that is your passion, you can spend all your time talking about aurora if you want, and they will give you lots of training on all the different programs that are happening around the aurora. Yeah, they're great. They've been around for 26 years now, so a good long time. They're an amazing group of folks. I wanted to also give you one quick update. We have a conference that's just been announced. We are doing astronomy at 250. This is astronomy across the US and what it's looked like for the 250 plus years that we are celebrating our semi-cinquentennial. I think I added an extra syllable or two in there, but 250 years of the United States, and we are having a virtual conference. You are welcome to submit abstracts. We encourage you to talk about the work that you're doing around your aurora chasing, how that happens here in the US, around the world. There are a lot of different strands there, so I thought that might be of interest to some of you. And I think I have one more slide, and then I will stick all these links in the chat. I am part of another network that's actually really fantastic, that is a National Science Foundation network. The Astro Excel is actually people who are both formal and informal educators working to host international collaborations. So there is a conference happening this summer, right? Happens to be right next to that solar eclipse that's happening in Spain, but it's in Portugal this year. And this group of networks just gets amazing collaborations done. So we're doing work on astronomy and awe, where there's a whole group that's working with large observatories, working with the indigenous populations around them. There are lots of different projects that people are working on, and it's fostering all sorts of international collaboration. So I just wanted to share that as well. Um, and I think that's it. That's all I got for today. So I just wanted to share those with you. There is science everywhere you look. I hope you get to access some of it. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to share.
Thank you so much. Yes,
Thank you.
great. Great, great. I had a question about that conference in Portugal. Am I
Yeah,
right in thinking there are potentially funding opportunities from that or something like that?
think that the date for the scholarships has closed, but you could certainly ask. I don't think it
N-
would hurt to ask.
I was thinking more like also like funders might be there type of thing. I don't recall what I read that made me think
Oh,
about that.
absolutely. So you can join Astro Excel. You don't have to go to the conference in Portugal. It's free to join. There are we they have monthly webinars about how lots of different things, how to run international programs, how to get international funding, how, so there are some pieces about that, and there will be certainly tracks at the conference about that, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about funding to get there.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious if that was part of what the purpose of this meeting was specifically, or if you knew, or if it's more generally about astronomy, or like, yeah.
Yeah, it's more generally astronomy education internationally, but
Hmm.
that does certainly involve funding.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great group in Portugal, um, I've talked to. So, yeah,
Pedro Russo is now in Portugal, which is so exciting. He's amazing.
very cool. Uh,
Yeah.
you have a question about your material. Do you want to speak to that? Yeah.
Yes. And I was going to grab the links. I might just grab a link to this presentation and you can find whatever you need on that. Because I have all the links in the notes at the bottom. But let me find that so I can. Yes, a lot of some of our materials on the Night Sky Network are in Spanish. We have one that is the big astronomy toolkit that I was telling you about is all about all the jobs that it takes to do a big astronomy, all these big international collaborations, but in particular about the ones in Chile. So we have um, uh, materials that are in both English and Spanish for that. We have a whole toolkit just in Spanish. We also have a whole toolkit of tactiles around that. They did a lot about how to make astronomy more accessible to those with visual impairments and blindness. And so that has been there. I was just going to find that link for you. Let me grab that.
Yes, because I think so. Our planetarium is currently participating in some software where it's with the university in the UK. They're doing sonification, so they're converting images into sound. So we've been test running that for them. The goal is by October to have a show for the visually impaired, at least kind of because we've been working on it for the past year. So that's kind of one of my big dreams. So we're working on that right now. So yes, if you have material, I'm more than happy to take that as well.
Absolutely. I hope you will send me I'm just going to stick my email in the chat. Will you just send me a note because I'm going into the office on Tuesday and I will send those to you. I have a ton of tactiles I'm happy to send you. If anyone else does, one of the things that we worked for during the eclipse, we worked with the Punch mission and they put out some amazing tactiles. Have you all gotten to play with those about the sun and during active periods and during more quiet periods and the different types of aurora that, not the aurora, sorry, the corona that you see during those two periods. And they went through and looked at it over time. So they have the Chaco Canyon version of what they think is probably an aurora, corona during an eclipse. They also have early drawings of eclipses and things like that. So we definitely have sets of those I'm happy to share with you. And I was going to show
Awesome. Thank
you,
you.
yeah, here's the big astronomy ones. One second. Um, somebody was asking me about big astronomy. This has both of those in there. Um, cool. Sonification of all sky cameras. That's amazing. Oh, um, Elizabeth Miller, the lowest grade. That's what I was going to tell you. So the Night Sky Network materials are not usually for under fifth grade, I would guess. Most of those are for fifth grade and up. But I have a whole set of materials that the Astronomical Society of the Pacific has done just for 3 to 7 year olds. And let me just get that for you. Let me grab that. A lot of it is pre-astronomy concepts, like what's up during the day, what's up at night. So it's really geared, it was a research project, and we really geared it for figuring out what it is that this age group is learning. I will grab that for you on My Sky Tonight. There we go. This is a whole bunch of stuff for early learners. Uh-oh, I think you're muted or else I can't hear you.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Now, am
Yeah.
I? So we would go to this environmental learning center, and I used to teach a 2-hour astronomy class to my fourth graders. And so I'm interested in getting back into that. I'm working with Starry Skies North to start doing that again. And I'm interested in materials that are like third, fourth grade age.
Yes. Send me an email. I will send you something.
I will.
I love it. We're actually just we're moving offices, so we have an awful lot of stuff that I would love to send you all. If there's anything that you need, please send me an email. This is my email. Yeah. Anything else, or I can just listen to what you all are talking about too. I'm fascinated by your work. Oh, Liz, I think you're muted now. It's the muting of the Elizabeths.
Yeah, I was just looking at your calendar for the Night Sky Network, and it's got lots and lots of events. So that's great. Any other questions we can pick your brain on?
Um, one, is there anything coming up for the summer? Like, are you guys doing anything nationally for the summer to get people outdoors and kind of, I guess, get people stargazing?
Oh, good question. One of the things that I've seen lately are the stars that whose light, this is not my program. I'm just going to talk about somebody else's program. It's Nightwise did this. And it's the stars whose light left the year that the US became its own country. So 200 stars with light, 200 stars that are 250 light years away, excuse me. And so you can observe those. There's a really fun one. I will have to find that because I don't have that in front of me, but I was just sticking some things into the chat if those are helpful. I mean, so if you go to the calendar, there are a ton of different events happening. There are national star parties that are larger groups of people getting together, and then there's every Friday night at the park down the street. So all summer, people are doing a lot of observing. Yeah, good question.
Are all of the clubs like officially astronomy clubs or like associated with different types of institutions in
They
the
are
Night
all,
Sky Network?
yeah, good question. They're all astronomy clubs. We have a couple of really active parks that aren't technically astronomy clubs that are also involved just because they do so much outreach. um, of the night sky. One of the cool things we're working on right now that we just got a very small um, grant into work in California is looking at college astronomy clubs. So, Prisco, I thought that might be something of interest to you. We're just doing California first, but we're hoping to expand it across the country, how to best support college astronomy clubs, because this is we often have them coming to request to be members of the Night Sky Network. And we have found in the beginning, we said yes, absolutely, but we found we don't really have the resources for them. So we are trying to just really look thoughtfully at what they need in particular. We did a lot of work with Liz with undergraduates and for the Eclipse Ambassadors and taking them up to Alaska to do the Winterfield School and learned a lot about some of their needs around astronomy clubs. So they've been a great resource for us. And then, so this came out of that and some other requests. So hopefully we will have something pretty soon that can help at a different level.
I had another question pop into my mind. Do you do a lot of partnering with the dark sky organizations in your area? Because here in northern Minnesota, the astronomical group, the astronomy group, and the dark skies group pretty much have started doing everything together.
Right. Oh, I love that. Um, we,
The dark
I have,
skies.
yeah, right, exactly. You need it. It's a really good point. There's a lot of crossover, and I have served on the board of International Dark Sky Association, which is now Dark Sky International. Um, but it's informal. There's definitely crossover, but it hasn't been. And we do have in that big astronomy toolkit, there's a great light pollution activity that comes out of NRAO um, that talks about how important dark skies are. That's a big piece of that toolkit as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I guess I'll let you keep posting links in the chat if you want and transition a little bit to talking about Artemis because we are wanting to see if there are any people that saw the aurora while the Artemis astronauts saw the aurora because there's a very special photo and series of photos that have the um, uh, dark side of the Earth and the aurora on both poles in digital, digital camera observations, which are exceptionally rare. Like we've had a few, and Pat and Allison could probably tell me exactly when they were, but they haven't been for a while. And there's definitely scientific interest in whether those aurora are symmetric or how they could change. And I am going to see if Laura can maybe share our infographic, but we're putting together just like a social media kind of thing about to share to see if anyone might have seen the aurora during this time. It's on it was on April 2nd, 3rd, and here I could share it. It's going to be we have not posted it yet. I think we're posting it later today. Is that right, Laura? Uh, Zoom is not letting me do the thing. Ooh.
Is this something you want us to post to our
So
group?
the ask is whether you would help us get the word out about this. Exactly. Thank you, Beth. Yeah. So it will look something like this. This is the image, one of the images. Oops. If I can zoom in. Oh, I can't zoom in. Okay, I can zoom in. This is like the Artemis image here, and the aurora is very tiny, but it actually wasn't a completely quiet time. There was kind of a very small storm going on. So, and they did take a series of photographs, and there's a GIF out there that someone put them together to show a little bit of motion. The vehicle is moving as well as the aurora. So we don't have the full track on this yet. But anyway, what we do have here is the image, and the image here in this version of the infographic has been rotated. So the borealis, the northern part, is actually in the north, and you can see Africa here, and then the Aurora Australis on the south. And when we look at that time on our website to see like roughly what the oval was doing, it was over Greenland, Iceland, and parts of eastern Canada. And it was also quite cloudy. So, it's sort of maybe there's somebody in this little band of like clear sky here who was looking north or, further north. It's not it's kind of a long shot, but it would be very cool to find views of what that aurora looked like from the ground, as well as to add to these observations. So this is kind of like a bonus science opportunity. And there could also be some people in Antarctica who saw it. So I think we'll try and tag some folks down there, but there might be people in the Aurora Australis community who have other connections. So it's kind of like a spread this far and wide to see if we can, or pilots, yeah, to see if we can share a little more Aurora joy here. How does that sound? If you have any suggestions, I know is Donna still on this call? We've asked what I know Donna, I can't remember if Laura told me this or not, but it said you were out and it was cloudy where you are. So unfortunately, one of our, most reliable people up here in somewhere near this area in Canada, it was cloudy for you, but otherwise you would probably be meeting those astronauts right now. No, we'd be hoping to make connections from there. But
I was out the next night and saw Aurora, so I missed it by one day.
Yeah.
And it looks like it didn't get that far south, but
No.
my one group has some members in Thunder Bay. Would that still be too far south? That's way up at the north, way up at the.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a possibility.
Okay.
Is Thunder Bay right at the US-Canadian border, or is it actually across the border?
It's a little bit north of the US-Canada border. It's at the northern, where Lake Superior peaks, the top of Lake Superior peaks. It's right near there. So I'd say 50 to 51 degrees geographic latitude. I don't know what their latitude is, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Dr. Pat, you have your hand up. Did you have something to add in?
Well, I was just stretching.
Oh no, Dr. Pat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. The one the one that had both the north and south in it from space. I'm looking it up right now. I forget whether it was from image or from polar, but it was in ultraviolet. And it really was a pretty good sized ring. And then we actually published an event where we had polar and image looking down on the aurora at the same time from both hemispheres. It was really, really nice. And we really saw some asymmetries in the flow velocities, which were associated with the Y component of the IMF. And that was really cool. I have a Science on a Sphere version of that if anybody is interested in the VR of our data with the two hemispheres.
Cool.
But yeah, the one that was both hemispheres. Now the interesting thing about this aurora picture, which when I first looked at it, I didn't really appreciate it, is that's a night side of Earth. And so that's one of the reasons why it's a little fuzzy, is that it was a longer time exposure. And so normally the aurora is too dim to see against a sunlit Earth. But because they were looking at the night side of Earth, then you could see the aurora off the limb, which is kind of cool.
and it was like lit up by the moon glow, by the bright moon behind them, which is really cool. And then there's, a lot more to geek out about, I think, about the cameras that they used and the connections, I think, to aurora chasing and citizen scientists and things like that. Yeah.
In our magnetism planetarium show, we have an event that we had aurora observers in Norway at the same time the space station observed it, and they observed both the same aurora, that the ones that the astronauts on the space station saw the same aurora that the Norwegians saw, and that's in our planetarium show.
I think that's one of the planetarium shows you have, Frisco, I think. Yeah, because I've seen it in his planetarium, and
Yeah, that was what we used for the show with Khalid.
yeah, when we talked about Aurora. So yeah, they're let's see. Are you all seeing the Aurorasaurus web page here as well? So I just pulled that up for you, Beth, because the our little infographic is kind of zoomed in, so you can't really see, but indeed at 9 p.m. Pacific, which is midnight, April 3rd, which is the time frame we're talking about, I think this view line crosses Thunder Bay, and that is enough that something could have been seen. So
Yeah, we close. I live just on where the view line is on Lake Creek, but farther north up by Lake Nippet, we've got, because our group, the one group that I'm talking about is the Lake Superior Region group, and we have members up there by Lake Nipigon and Thunder Bay, and if they didn't have clouds that night, it's entirely possible some of them were out.
I think there probably were a lot of clouds, but we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe somebody didn't.
Hurt fast.
It's a fun quest. It's mostly a fun quest.
Yes.
Yeah. So it would be very cool. And hopefully you guys find it fun. If you find it fun as well, you'll share. So yeah, so we'll put that on our Facebook and Twitter later today. Does anyone have any other Aurora or space weather related news they might want to share?
Can you make the clouds go away for this corona hole?
Yeah, it's cloudy here
I'll
too.
have a word with the
Maybe.
weather. It's just going to take a couple minutes for them to respond to my email.
Because the clouds just moved in.
That was last year for me. It's like right as soon as like a good substorm would hit, like the clouds would just get right in front of it. Like, nope, you're not seeing anything.
Yep.
Oh, I lost Allison. I was going to ask her about tracers data. Pat, do you know about tracers data at all? Okay. Tanya was asking me about tracers data, and I think Allison and the Iowa crew have access to this new satellite data that should be available, I think, but it's brand new, so I'm not sure if it's available yet. All right. Well, maybe we're a little bit early today, but thank you all so much. Had a lot of great exchange we all have emails to send Vivian and when she's in her office, if she's thinking of things. Yeah, I guess I get questions about, like observing, like somebody had a group of high schoolers out in the woods, basically, or at this retreat camp. And, they didn't have a telescope or anything, but what could they see? And so I've pulled some of the like basic star maps for them, but I wonder if you have, there's a difference between being out and then also like a different type of event where it's more like a handout or something to do there. If you have any thoughts on things that, like, I don't know, it could be games, or there could be ways to. This was a little while ago that I got an ask like that, and it was kind of a difficult one. Well, it wasn't difficult, but it was like they had like a fairly large number of high schoolers that they wanted to take out stargazing, and um, we got them some like preparation for like here's what you could see and here's kind of some basic stuff you could point out, and that was good. Um, but
The activity I used to do with my fourth graders, you could still do with high schoolers.
mhm,
You could maybe expand on it a little bit, but this astronomy class that I taught, I copied a protractor on a copy machine and then had it printed on cardstock. And then I had the kids tape it to a toilet paper tube. And then we hung a string on the protractor with a washer as a weight. And we as we were building it, we would do all the math. What's a protractor for? What does it measure? Um, and then I would take them outside and teach them where the North Star was and have them take a sighting on it, because that's where latitude numbers come from,
mhm,
between the horizon and the North Star. And
mhm,
so they would start to pick up on all that. And so in doing that, we taught the Big Dipper and the pointer stars. And it was just with fourth graders, it's just because they're just learning latitude in fourth grade,
mhm.
and they're just learning protractors in fourth grade. And when they pull all that together, it's like, whoa, it's a
Yeah.
really fun activity for the kids to do. And it brings in so much other, it brings in social studies, it brings in math. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
it's just a blast.
That is so cool. Yeah, just some basic stargazing navigation, what you're looking at, and constellation stories, if you have a few of those that
Mhm,
are good. It's always good to who can see the first star, and then realizing that that's hardly ever a star, usually a planet you can see first. Just knowing where those are. For high school students, those apps that they have, free
mhm,
stargazing apps, really, I mean, that allows them to then be able to use it whenever they want. So introducing them to a few of those when they have questions, if they can see, if they want to know what something is in the night sky, introducing the app is a good idea.
We have the
Um,
museum, Stellarium.
That's
mhm.
my
yeah,
favorite.
Solarium is perfect.
That's
Yeah,
I know there's more involved apps out there, but Stellarium makes it
Scare phones.
Mhm.
so simplified, and I just
yeah,
love
yeah, me too.
I have one more question actually. Prisco, I wonder if you could talk about the event that you're doing coming up. I think you're taking folks out for some photography, maybe not Aurora related, but it sounds like a cool
Oh,
event.
oh.
Did I
Yeah, I
miss
was I
it?
was gonna say like which one? There's like a million
Okay,
going on.
maybe you're.
Yeah, because I have one with all the like the scouts, our migrant services this month. I have LIGO that's gonna be partnering with us this month. So yeah, we're just all over the
Wow.
place. One man show. And then I'm training volunteers. But yeah, tomorrow in Wallula, I'm taking folks out to do Milky Way photography, which I'm kind of fingers crossed because right now we're the last one standing in the state. Everybody else got clouded out because it's Washington. I mean,
Hmm.
Washington, it that's clouds. I mean, so we have that occurring tomorrow around midnight, and then I have, and hopefully might get Aurora with it. So we're taking a few people out there. Photography basics, learning how to capture the Milky Way, how to deal with light pollution because it's more and more a problem. And then usually it's kind of like how to navigate the night sky with the basic constellations. So for me, my starting one, I don't you start with the Big Dipper. I start with the Big Dipper or Cassiopeia if they're looking for Polaris because they're just easy. Just like look for the W in the sky, and I'm like that's super easy. Now you know you're north. Okay, cool. That's one limit. I use the term lateral limits because it's military, but the one limit to north could be Cassiopeia, and the other could be the Big Dipper. And so you're looking for like the Northern Lights, for example, right? A lot of times it'll appear between the two. So yeah, just kind of those basic the general understanding of the night sky. So for tomorrow.
Are you having people meet at a park or?
We are meeting at it's sort of like this turnoff. So if you go towards Wallula, I'm sure most people aren't familiar with Washington. So Southeast Washington, we have the
It's on
Columbia
the
River.
Columbia River, yeah.
Yeah, there's a part where it loops back because there's a part that divides Washington and Oregon, and it kind of loops back a little bit, and that's where it goes into Tri-Cities. That loop back, there's like a park there that faces to the southeast a little bit, and that park it marks an old fort that used to be there, a military fort, and so they will go there, and we will be able to look at there's some mountains to the south west, some like hills, some areas where there was like a glacial burst of water flood that happened like 10,000 years ago. So we will look at that as a foreground object. And then, of course, to the east, we might see some of the Milky Way, Cygnus, and then to the north, if we are lucky, if this coronal hole cooperates, we should have some aurora tomorrow night as well. So
That
lots to do,
sounds
lots to look at.
fantastic. Cool. That'll be great. Okay. All right. Well, we can say goodbye for now. Thank you all.
Thank you so
I,
much,
fa-
everybody.
I found the image if anybody wants to see it.
Oh yeah, let's see it.
Yeah,
I
UV, dual aurora,
had to do some.
Pat's paper, Pat's yeah.
No, this is not my paper. This is
Mhm.
from the Viz camera, but you can see the auroral ring in both hemispheres. So that's what it is.
Wow.
And
If you don't
the
mind me asking, what's the side? There's like a extension that connects the two ovals together, like that orange. Is that like the day side?
That's a day glow. Yeah, that's
Okay.
just the ionosphere glowing.
it's
But
really
it's
hard to get all the viewpoints, right? So this was looking from the side, and then that other one was looking from the back. But from the side, you can, I don't know.
this is mostly from the back. You're just getting a little bit
Mm.
of the upper atmosphere lit.
Cool. And this was the image satellite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can show you the other one of the two, but we don't need to do that now. But anyway, fun.
Yeah, it's very rare, the images like this, right? There's probably fewer than 20, even with all that, the satellite
Yeah.
that flew.
Because you had to be at midnight and you had to be near the equator. Because most of the time these missions were designed to look down on the aurora from the top, you know.
Mhm.
And so they precessed from looking at the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, you know, and you had to be at midnight and it blah blah blah. So yeah, it's very rare.
This image actually gives me some hope that even if we were able to do something with the Artemis images, that it would be scientifically valuable, because it is, that image is like the pixels are much bigger, and yeah, it's hard to do. And so you're kind of like generally trying to see if there's some asymmetry or what it's doing, but okay. All right, cool. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Have a great one, everybody.